In this video, I'm going to be talking about a garage. The job I was working on for this video had all kinds of tape peeling off. It was uninsulated. This is my garage, and it's really nice. It's held up really good. It's approximately 26 by 30. There is a danger of expansion and contraction under these larger ceilings. I've managed to avoid that without putting any expansion joints in because it's so well insulated. I've got probably an R49 in this ceiling. I don't heat this garage, but I can heat it. I have a heater up in the ceiling here. It's very easy to heat if I need to. But I think the critical thing here is, when I take this garage, it was nice weather. It wasn't in the middle of winter and very poor conditions. That was an important step. I used all-purpose heavyweight compound when I embedded the tape, and I have lots of insulation. So this is the ideal situation. A garage should be finished. I know a lot of houses just have fire taping. Fire taping is just one coat of tape over all the joints, and that tends to not hold up very well, but that does pass code so you get your CO. But it never ends up looking good, and over time, the drywall yellows and the tape start to peel off. So finish your garages under ideal conditions and make sure it's well insulated and air sealed. I'm at a customer's house this morning. They're having trouble with their garage ceiling. All the seams are cracked and peeling right off. He said he retaped it himself a year or so ago and it just all came right back off. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna retape it, and actually I'm gonna retape it with some really strong tape. I'm using the Fiberfuse Max, and I'm going to embed that in an all-purpose heavyweight compound. But I think part of the problem is, we go up here in the attic, there's no insulation. So this house is, I don't know how old this house is, at least 30 years. And it's never been insulated. It's a garage that he does occasionally heat, and of course he keeps his cars in there as well. So I'm going to build proper vents to create dams, then I'm going to blow in some fiberglass insulation, and then I'm going to retape the ceiling. I don't want to just retape it without insulating because I'm afraid it's just going to fail again. Another thing I've done up here, before I blow in any insulation, I'm going through it, I actually put a bead of foam right along the seams that I could see up here. And then with a light boxes, any penetration. I did the penetrations to avoid air coming up in here. And I did the seams just because I thought it might strengthen them a little bit. All right, I've started removing the tape. A couple things I noticed right away was they did use a mesh tape for the repair, and not necessarily the strongest version of mesh. Also, the compound is pretty soft. I think it was probably a lightweight compound. But what really has kind of confused me is, this was a repair, so this ceiling had been taped years ago. But see how it's come totally clean? I mean, there's nothing stuck to the drywall itself anymore, which concerns me. So I think before I apply new tape and compound, I'm going to put a little bonding agent on this, just to help make sure it's going to stick. All the areas where the tape came loose and the joint compound peeled off, I'm just sealing them with a concrete bonding additive. Just rolling it on with this little roller. And then it dries real quick, so I'll be able to put a coat of compound over this pretty quick. I'm doing this because I just kind of worried that the compound all peeled off. I don't want it to happen again. Now that I have all the seams sealed up with the bonding agent, I'm going to embed Fiber Fuse Max in the all-purpose heavyweight compound. This is the USG brand I'm using. It's the green top. All right, I have the Fiber Fuse Max embedded in the all-purpose compound. What I just decided I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right over it with a thin skim coat of the all-purpose heavyweight, just to get a quick coat over it. And I like the bonding ability of the heavyweight, so I want to make sure that I use that to fill in these areas with it where it all peeled off. All right, I'm up in the attic, and I just wanted to show you what I'm doing for the ventilation. I've ripped pieces of like 3/4 inch extruded foam to the width between the rafters, and I actually made a little piece along the bottom. So this is essentially creating a dam so I can blow my insulation against that and not fill into the soffit. But when I did this, I wanted to make sure that I could still see light coming in, because this is for ventilation. So I have about a good inch gap along the top and I can see light. So I've kept the ventilation, created a nice dam. It's a lot of work, it's hard work. I'm actually laying on these sheets of plywood and reaching over with one hand and fitting these in and foaming them nice in place. So, but this is a necessary step. Today I'm going to blow in some fiberglass insulation. So we rented the Attic Cat, and we got these bags of the insulation. Getting set up, got to read the instructions, try to figure out how to work this thing. I haven't done it for quite a while. I chose this type of insulation instead of cellulose today because I'm working in somebody's garage and there's a bunch of stuff. They got a car in here, and I just didn't want to create as much dust. So I'm hoping the fiberglass creates less dust. Okay, I'm up in the attic, all blowing in. Really nice looking job. This is going to solve the problem. This machine worked great, blowing in the fiberglass. It's not much dust even. It just was actually, I don't know, I almost would say it was fun. But the customer is going to be really happy. This was important. I didn't want that ceiling to re-crack. And it's funny because when I was down there the other day, it was hot out, put my hand against the drywall, it was pretty darn warm. So this will keep it cool and prevent the tape from peeling off. At least that's what I hope.